Hello students, I am Sanjay Durle. I am working as professor and head in Electronics Engineering Department of GH Raisoni College of Engineering, Nagpur. I am going to teach the course Modeling of Digital System. In this course, the students will able to design the digital systems in terms of software. So up till now students, you have seen that how the digital systems work, the simple functions of digital system. If we look ahead regarding the gates like AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate. So you have learned the operation and the truth table of these gates. But in this course, the student would able to write the code for this AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, and with the help of these digital components, one could able to design the combinational as well as sequential circuits in coding form. So the name of this course which we will learn or language is VHDL. Now VHDL is a language which is used to code the digital systems. Now what is the purpose of writing the digital systems in terms of coding? Because here it is required that every digital systems is not necessary work to be satisfactory once it is designed. So prior to the working, one should able to know how the simulation portion as well as the compilation part of that particular circuit is perfect or not. So with the help of this language VHDL, one could able to write this course. Now what is the full form of this course? V stands for VHSIC, that is very high speed integrated circuit. H stands for hardware, D stands for description, and L stands for language. Now why only VHDL? Why not other language? If we look into the history of VHDL, it is found that the VHDL was a language which was standardized in the year 1984. US Department of Defense has taken the initiative to standardize this language VHDL. Why there was the need for standardizing this language? The things was not like that. The hardware description languages were not available. Hardware description languages were available since 1970s. But the problem was that there are many hardware developers, and those hardware developers were using their own hardware description languages. And the problem was that once a coding or a hardware circuit is designed by any of the manufacturer, then if somebody wants to customize or if maintenance part is required for that particular hardware, then the customer has to go to that particular manufacturer only. So taking this matter into account, US Department of Defense has decided to standardize the language. So initially US has given contract to 3 major companies: IBM, Intermetrics, and these companies togetherly work on the various hardware description languages available during those days. During those days, the ADA was the most popular hardware description language, and this language was mostly used by many of the chip manufacturer companies. Apart from this ADA, there are other hardware description languages available where Eastern, Police, and many more. So this hardware description language was studied by this company IBM, Intermetrics, and later on in the year 1984 they have come with one new hardware description language called as VHDL. Once again, the full form for VHDL is V stands for very high speed integrated circuit, H stands for hardware, D stands for description, L stands for language. And for students to initially read for this course, the preferred book is basic book for learning this VHDL is VHDL Primer by J. Bhaskar, and apart from that advanced book is VHDL programming by Douglas Perry. Now, what this VHDL is? Why VHDL? Why not other conventional languages like C, C++, Java? There is a specialty in this language. As you are well aware that in hardware circuit, many of the operation needs to be run in parallel. Whereas in sequential languages, you will find that the many of the statements which are written in the sequential languages like C, C++, they used to run sequentially. Whereas in VHDL, the statements can run concurrently, or we call it as parallelly. So concurrency is the major feature of VHDL language, and because of that, this language VHDL is compatible for hardware designing. So, as we are aware that concurrent programming is required. So, this language is basically built on 5 constructs, or we call it as design units. First design unit is called as entity declaration. Entity declaration, what entity declaration in VHDL gives? Entity declaration gives the outer view of any of the digital design. Outer view means what one can see from the outside. For example, if a chip is there, we find that within the chip there are 4 pins or 8 pins or 16 pins. So these pins, each of these pins operation can be described within the entity, and hence entity declaration gives the outside the black box things. Another design unit is architecture body. This is the main body of VHDL. Now within this architecture body, one could able to describe the internal operation inside the chip. What can be the internal circuitry? So whatever the things required to work out will be explained in architecture body, and it is the main body of VHDL. Third design unit is configuration declaration. Configuration declaration gives the combination of entities with the multiple architecture bodies. This configuration declaration will decide what kind of architecture body is provided to the entity, because if there is a single entity and multiple architecture bodies, in that case we need to define the priorities of the body. So one should give the proper priorities to the architecture bodies with the entity declaration in configuration declaration design unit. The next design unit part is package declaration. As we know that, we will learn that how the package works. The user, in this language, the user has the facility to create its own package in the form of small circuit or bundles. So this package can be further elaborated and used within our own design. We will go in depth later. So it works similar to that of entity declaration part. And the last design unit is package declaration. Package declaration is work in correlation with the package body, and further this package body works similar to that of architecture body, which we have already seen. Now coming back to the VHDL, how the VHDL operates. Generally there are various ways of modeling the digital circuits. First way is data flow style of modeling. Another way is structural way of modeling. Third way is behavioral style of modeling. Coming to the first way, data flow style of modeling. What is there in data flow style of modeling? In data flow style of modeling, we are directly writing the concurrent statements within the VHDL programming. And after writing the concurrent statements, one could able to create the parallel operation scenario. Second way of writing the VHDL programming is structural way of writing. In this programming, one could able to take the standard packages of the VHDL libraries which are available, and by making the use of these standard packages, one could able to design a digital circuit. Third way, that is behavioral way of writing a VHDL program. In behavioral way, what we are doing, we are first of all studying the behavior of the circuit which we need to implement, and after studying that particular circuit, we used to write the code as per the behavior of that particular circuit, in what way that particular circuit gives the output. This is the way. So, this is in short regarding the explanation or introduction portion of VHDL. After learning this course, students, you could able to understand or model the digital systems in VHDL. Second part, after finishing of this course, the student shall be able, you should be able to write the VHDL programs which can be compilable. You should also able to analyze the timing analysis of each and every component which you are using within the digital programming. You should able to design the combinational and sequential circuits. You should also able to design the finite state machines with the help of VHDL. So, without taking much more efforts, this hardware description language is found to be very useful, and we will have a later detailed description later. Thank you.